Tonight we have our guests here who are all three running for our school board. We have Camille Graves, Chris Smith in the middle, and Frank Woods here on the end. We are going to ask each of them to speak and tell us a little bit about themselves and why they feel they should be elected for school board. And then we will open it up to the floor for questioning. Which of you would like to begin?
Sure, I'll start. Here you go.
I did last time.
That's true. Hi, my name is Chris Smith, and I know most of you, but I was born and raised here in Anderson and grew up in the county. Graduated from McDonald County High School in '95 and moved away for about 13 years and was able to come back here to be an insurance agent with American Family here in Anderson. And I'm married to my wife, who's also a graduate of McDonald County. Same year. She is a little bit older than me, but same year. And we have 3 kids, an 8th grader, a 5th grader, and a 2nd grader. And I've been a member of Banner Church of the Nazarene for most of my life, about 25 plus years. And president of the McDonald County Chamber of Commerce, also the president of McDonald County Youth Basketball Association, and just heavily involved in the community. And I feel like some of my strengths are just being a good listener, and I have a really big heart, and I care about people. With my kids being part of the community and being involved here, I just want to see the school be the best it can be for them. Academically, athletically, any extracurricular activities they want to be involved in. I went to college on a basketball scholarship after high school, and I learned probably more life lessons about being a teammate through the sport of basketball than I ever did in a classroom. So for me, that was very important. However, classroom is extremely important as well. So I see both sides of that, and like I said, I'm a good listener, and I like to stand up for what's right and what I believe is right. I'm not scared to do that. So that's my story. Who's next?
Hi, my name is Camille Graves, and I live in Knoll, Missouri. The whole reason why I started on this venture is because I took my own advice, which is I've always told people during election years, if you hear rumors or gossip, go to the source, or even when it's not an election year. I mean, we hear things all the time, and we just kind of take it for the truth. And so what I had done over the past years, I'd heard some different things about the school system and about the schools. And so I went to Dr. Stanton, and I started asking him questions. And that's what really got me motivated, because what I realized is one of the weakest parts of the McDonald County school system is the public promotion of these schools. If you listen to what you hear around the county, you just don't hear how great they are and how much higher our kids test in this county than in surrounding areas. And I just feel like that if you can get that across to the public and really go for all-out public promotion, it can bring more pride to the kids that are here, and they can take, they can take something with them on that. I think last year was when my fiance's niece said she went to a sporting event and the opposing team showed up in trash bags and implied that the kids in here were white trash. And it broke my heart, because I went to Hillcrest High School in Springfield. On the north side, we had a rendering plant that slaughtered horses. On our south side was the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds, and on our west border was the zoo. So we got called all kinds of names about being hillbilly, or you name it, people dressed up in all kinds of outfits because of where we were located. And we were on the north side of Springfield, out in the country. But nothing cuts as hard as being called white trash. And I just thought, one, it was poor on their point that none of the administrators from that school would put a stop to that. But how horrible it must be for the kids to feel like that, because like I said, it just cuts. And so I just felt like the reason why I wanted to do this was to kind of help promote the schools. I think it's really important that you have people on the school board that are business leaders, because you have such an enormous budget, and it is the business of running the schools. But I also think it's important to have a more diverse background. I have a degree in agriculture, And I'm very passionate about education, so much so that I went back and got started on my master's in 2009, and I'm getting ready to finish that up. And it's in criminal justice, but it's in education and outreach. And I was recently appointed as a liaison for the Department of Natural Resources as their education person for the southwest and southeast portions of Missouri. And what we're trying to do is promote science and math and chemistry in our local schools, because that's right now where we're weakest across the board in the United States. And so we're going to try to work with the schools and speak to the teachers and get with the kids and see what we can do to really motivate these kids. And like I said, I'm proud of where I came from. I'm the first one in my family to go to college, and I know that isn't for everybody, but I think you can get so much out of the public school systems, and I think we just really need to promote what we have here.
Okay, I am Frank Woods. I've currently been on your board for the past 6 years. I've been married to my wife, Karen, for 23 years. I've been employed at Cornerstone Bank for 24 years. I've been a member of Full Gospel Church in Southwest City for probably 26 years. I'm a lifelong resident of McDonald County. I often joke that except for a short time when I lived down south, I lived in Maysville, which is 9 miles south of Southwest City, just in the edge of Arkansas. I've been right in the Southwest City area my whole life. I have worked in the summer ball program, it seems like for a lifetime, all the way back. I started that when I was 18 years old. I've served on church board, our local city council in Southwest City. I had a term. I'm one of the charter members of our McDonald County School Foundation. I serve as the vice president there and also as the chairperson for the grant committee. And all I've ever tried to do or been involved with, it seems like, revolves around kids. Served on Parks and Recreation Board at Southwest City. Numerous events in Southwest City throughout the county is about doing things that will help the children of this, of our area. I believe in education. My grammar is horrible. I am married to a lady that taught for close to 15 years. My sister-in-law is a teacher in this district. My other sister-in-law is a principal in this district. Their mother was an educator at Southwest City. So I'm around education, and I know what education looks like. I just may not be the best recipient of it. But I do believe that our kids need to have the best education. I believe that we give them that here at McDonald County. I think that the teachers do an outstanding job here. I believe the administration does an outstanding job here. McDonald County is not an easy school district to maintain, to take care of things in. We're 428 square miles of school district. We run close to 50 buses a day to get our kids just to school. The things that this school has been able to accomplish over the past 15, 18 years, it's just incredible. And anyway, I would like to continue to be a part of that. Thank you.
Okay, we have some questions for you. What do you feel is the most important consideration in making a board decision, and how would you resolve a consensus that does not fit your viewpoint?
Okay, repeat the first part of the question.
What do you feel is the most important consideration in making a board decision?
Okay, the most important consideration is how will this affect our kids? Because when it's all said and done, the job of this school district is to educate the kids of this county. So that is the first thing, is what is the impact going to be on the kids? And then the second thing, we've walked out of many meetings where it wasn't a 7-0 vote. We state our opinion, we vote the way we feel that we should vote, but when you walk out of a school board meeting, whatever that vote is, we're unified when we walk out there. The discussion is over, it's done, and we have voted as a board to support that decision.
pretty good answer, Frank.
That was a good one to get to go first.
Yeah, shoot, I should have grabbed the mic. Yeah, I totally agree that, you know, if you're on the school board and the kids' education and well-being is not number one, probably shouldn't be there. But definitely that's my number one consideration. I always have to remember that, you know, aside from what I want or what I feel or whatever, it's, you know, the question is always coming back to, is this what's best for the kids? You know, you get into a lot of heated opinions or discussions at times, and that's what you got to stick to. And I know a lot of you all being teachers probably come to the same thing. You know, there's sometimes you might have to set aside your personal feelings because it may not be the best for the kids at that time. So what was the second part of that question? Have I answered that already? I don't think I did.
How would you resolve if your viewpoint wasn't getting across? If it wasn't getting across?
How would I resolve if my viewpoint was not getting across? You know, I think that's one thing in a school board meeting. You know, I'm up for re-election, so I've been there for 3 years. In the beginning, there's a lot of times where may not be real sure, real strong about stating your opinion or viewpoint. But I think, and Frank can tell me if I'm wrong, but if I got something to say, I'm going to say it. And if my viewpoint's not getting across, it's not because I'm not making a strong effort at it. So I think that the current board that we have is pretty good at listening to each other's viewpoints and accepting them as what they are. And then, like Frank said, you make a vote, and that's what you go with. So.
Well, I agree with with what the gentleman said. I guess something I would add to that is, even though I don't have experience as being a board member, I've served on several committees. I do work for the Department of Natural Resources, and I've been on committees that actually have created new regulations or adjusted those, and we have to consider, you know, everybody that's going to affect. If I was on a school board, obviously the most important thing are the children. And I feel like I'm a pretty good communicator and a very good listener, and I think that I do a good job of getting my point across. And so I think that the issue is, you know, you leave your ego at the door, you put the kids first, and then, you know, you just have to respect the people that you're on the board with and listen to what their opinions are, and be willing to give, and because sometimes, you know, you're not right, and you may have a big passion about one direction. If you'll just stop and listen to what the other board members have and what their perspective is and where they're coming from, you may even change your mind. But in the end, you have to think about the kids, and that's the most important thing.
I would add to that I am a salesman, so I do a pretty good job making a good point, I think. I don't know if that's good or bad.
What is your position on improving technology in the schools?
All right. Technology in the schools is extremely important. You know, I think a lot of the society or our culture is, I mean, everybody's got a smartphone, and if you don't, you know, you're kind of funny maybe, but everybody wants one, right? Because it does cooler things, and you know, you can communicate with more people at the same time, and you know, they're called smartphones because they help you. They're more intelligent. So I think technology is a lot the same way in the schools, and it's become more and more affordable, in my opinion. But yeah, we need to go. You know, we've got lots of smart boards. I know we still need more, and computers is a big deal, and we are constantly working at grants to increase the number of those and increase the size. One thing is our library. We're looking to increase that and expand that to where we have more computers and more technology for people, for students. So yeah, technology is a big deal. We need to keep moving in that direction, moving forward.
I do agree. I think it's extremely important. The job market alone is very competitive, and if we expect our kids to be able to compete with the surrounding areas, then we have to have them prepared. And one of those is to be able to provide them at least the same level of technical skills, and that'll prepare them so they're more competitive. There are, Chris mentioned grants. There's a lot of grants to look at besides just federal government grants or state grants. Tyson Foods has a grant, $50,000. If you're a nonprofit or create one, you can go and apply for that, and they give a lot of education money. The $50,000 and below is fairly easy to obtain, but they go up to $100,000. That's something that we should look at. Tyson Foods is a big employer in this community, and I know they do a lot for the community too. But why not take advantage of that? To help out anywhere we're deficient in technology. There's that saying, education is expensive, but ignorance is costly. And I think that's very true in this situation. We've got to really keep up on technology and keep current.
Yes, I also agree. I mean, technology is not something, regardless of whether we agree that we want it or whatever, we're going to have it. I mean, we're going to have to keep pursuing that. Mr. Lett, who gives us our technology report at the board meetings, is constantly making us aware of the things that we need to have, the things where we're going to have to go. That's one of the first things the foundation, first grant we gave away was for a smartphone. So the foundation is working also on the school district's behalf, looking at technology for the school. It was okay to plow a field with a mule, but it's a lot better with a big tractor and a big plow, behind it. Our kids, we want them to be equipped to go out and compete. I think Camille said that. I agree with that. We have to provide them the ability to compete. And another thing, on competition, one of the things we've always tried to work for is, besides the school, but just in our community involvement, I want my boys, I have 2 boys, and I want them to grow up. I want them to have a shot at life in McDonald County. So I mean, we have to have that in our head. I mean, and that may be selfish that I want my boys to be around me all my life. I don't know, but I mean, we need to do everything in our power to make sure that those kids have that shot, and that's going to be in the technology field. We're going to have to provide that.
Whoops, I guess that's
In your opinion, what is the best thing and the worst thing that the Missouri legislature has done for education in the past 5 years? And you get to be first.
Great. I'm probably going to have to defer to these two because I've been working on some other things and am not very current on those issues right now. As a school board member, it's very important to stay on top of all that, but I'll be honest, I could sit up here and tell you this and that, and it's may have been more than 5 years ago. So I will defer to these guys so I know we're current on those issues.
You go first? Okay, the best thing and the worst thing that the legislature's done. I don't know if there is a best thing that the legislature's done for anybody in anything, let alone in education. I mean, I'm on the school board to help with the governance of the policies at the school board. I'm not on the school board to tell y'all how to teach. I can't do that. We have people in the legislature that are telling us how to educate, but they don't have a clue how to educate. They do the same thing in the banking industry. They do the same thing in everything that the government gets. And I'm not Camo, and I don't have a machine gun back here, so I'm not going to go nuts on it. But the trying to balance the budget to try to the state funding was taken away. County absorbed that, cut budget. I don't think anybody lost jobs. There may be some people that didn't get replaced as they retired things, but we tried to keep all those jobs in position. The budget committee did a good job on keeping those things going. And I think so. Some of the worst thing is the government having their hands on anything is never a good thing. So I don't know on the best thing. Chris may know something, but I don't know of a best thing that the legislators have done. I know one of the things, when the transportation was cut so much, they did come up with some money to stick back into transportation, and that's a big thing to us. Like I say, 50 buses a day. I can't remember. Dick just gave us the report. How many? Was it close to 1 million miles in transportation or something? I mean, that's a huge expense, and they did get some money put back in. I think the governor actually got that put back in. So.
That's what I was going to say. The best thing was that they were able to find some money that they didn't think they were going to have, and we benefited from that. I don't think the No Child Left Behind Act didn't work out so well. The Race to the Top thing, I don't think is a really good idea either. They probably should just ask us what we think we should do, and what the teachers need and want, and go that route. But that's probably it. Anything? Do I have anything to add?
Do you think teachers should have an avenue for protesting their performance evaluations?
Should teachers have an avenue for protesting their evaluations? Are you referring to evaluations by their administrators or building principals? Performance evaluations. Yeah, I don't think that would be a bad idea. I'm not sure what that avenue is. I'm open to ideas, but due process. Sure. We hire administrators and we put them in place and hope that they do a great job at what they're supposed to do. But one of those important things is evaluating the teachers. And could they make a mistake or screw that up? Yeah, they could. And that's kind of a crack that has probably slipped through more times than it should be. So, yeah, I think a teacher, I could see it would make sense to me where a teacher would say, hey, I received a poor evaluation, but can I make a case for myself and be heard? Yeah, I'd be for that.
I would say absolutely. I'm a state worker. I've been with the state for over 20 years. And, sometimes it can, hopefully people are professional enough that they don't take any kind of animosity out in a performance appraisal, but that does happen sometimes. And then the other is just a miscommunication. My agency has now gone to, before you ever start your next fiscal year, they have laid out all the things they expect you to accomplish. And it's all laid out in there, and now they have to tell you how they expect you to accomplish that. And so there's a better communication up front. And at the end, on our performance appraisals, we have 5 days to read over that. And if we don't agree with anything in there, we can take it up in writing. And we write out exactly how we feel about it and where we think maybe there's a difference in opinion on things. And then it goes before, not technically a board, but it goes through the Office of Administration. And I really think that a lot of times it's just a matter of miscommunication. I thought I was supposed to do this. I thought I accomplished it, and you're saying I didn't, and now I'm going to get dinged basically for it. And so I think, absolutely, if you're going to be evaluated, you should be able to have a chance to, to come back and explain, how you believe you did.
I agree also that there should be a formal process that you could, consult with them about your evaluation. One of the things that we did just approve this last month was a new program for training of the administrators for a better evaluation system. It's through the University of Missouri. They will provide the training for our administrators. It is, I believe, going to be a lot better for administrators, and it's going to be a lot better for teachers. It's going to have, instead of just somebody coming and standing and watching you one time, which I think maybe is close to how it's worked a lot in the past, it's going to have a lot of smaller snapshots of how you've done throughout the year in some, maybe some little less formal type settings, or where, it's the evaluation day and we're going to come and, you're subject to how your kids act, how the lesson is that day and all that things. I think it will be a lot better formula for that, but you should have a chance to discuss your evaluation.
Please share with us your perception of MOSIP 5 and how it will affect our district.
That's a good question. I mean, it's going to affect our district, I believe, for one thing. It's one of those things going to require more and more recording of data, I guess it is, and more work on administrators and teachers and everything that I don't know. I mean, I know the more information you gather is supposed to help you, but if you spend so much time gathering information, we have a problem there. I mean, we're going to do everything in our power to do everything to abide by the rules and regulations that are set because we have to. I mean, funding is determined upon those test scores and grades and participation in that. But at the same time, we can't lose focus. I mean, we can't lose focus that this is still for the kids' education. I sat in a board meeting earlier this year and was listening to the fact that we had somebody come into our district that was basically analyzing the data of our test and helping us to get information to know how to better prepare our kids for that test. What's wrong with a well-rounded education? I mean, so I'm not sure. I mean, we're going to do everything to comply. We're going to do everything to support the administration, the faculty, to help our kids to test to the best of their ability. Just have to roll the dice with it.
I don't like doing a lot of paperwork personally or in business. And I get frustrated when I'm required to do a lot of paperwork to record. Usually you can just look and see what's happened over the past, and you can know what I've done or how good a job I've done. I don't necessarily have to spend multiple hours or days recording that and then giving it to you. So, I'm not a fan of more paperwork and more reporting personally, not in that sense.
I don't have anything to add. I think these two guys covered it all, but I just wanted to get off subject just a little bit. When I was looking at all the different plans on the internet and in the school district's webpage, it's a daunting task to get through those because you guys use so many acronyms, and I understand that. I do it in my job too. But when you want to learn about something and it's all acronyms and there's no glossary there, it took a long time. I was going on Google and I was looking up this and okay, that doesn't apply to education. And I have to say, this is the second forum I've attended, and it's a little disappointing that there aren't more people. And so I feel like a lot of people depend on the media for their information, or they go to the internet. And I do think that if you guys had like a glossary somewhere on there in front of all these plans that you have, it would be easier for someone to get through because there isn't one now on there. And so it's kind of overwhelming to try to read through there. And granted, I understand why you have the acronyms. You can't spell everything out, but it would help a little bit. So.
I agree.
Talking about our webpage, how would you as a board member feel about putting teacher salaries and other information like that on our webpage? Like a salary schedule.
Is it? Oh, are you first?
You want to go?
Oh, no, I thought I was. No, it's okay.
I think you're up.
Oh.
If you want, I mean.
I personally don't have a problem with it. We have the Missouri Blue Book. You know what I make this year, last year, as far as you want to go back. As far as obviously the Sunshine Law, you can request a lot of information, but that's just one thing that I think it should be out there. I don't think it's something that we need to hide from the public. And I guess that's it.
I don't necessarily want my salary put on the website for everybody to see. People probably think I make a lot more than I do, so I won't want them to be disappointed. But I don't know. Do you guys want your salary? You want the salary schedule up on there? I'm not totally against it, but I'm not totally for it either. That's something that I would ask as many teachers as possible and listen to what they're wanting. I mean, after all, we're elected officials, so it's not really what I want. But if I feel like the majority of the teachers want it, then I would support it.
Well, I mean, I'm in the private sector, even if it is at the bank. I mean, I can't discuss my pay with anybody, and I don't know what anybody else makes, and they don't know what I make. I'm not opposed. I mean, it is basically, it's government positions. It's nothing that's hidden there. So, I mean, if it's something that was put on the website, I would not have an opposition to that being on our website.
Can I follow that up? Maybe, I guess I looked at this a little bit different because I've, over 20 years that people have known my salary, and I just don't think it's that big of a deal. We're all, on the same level and the same pay grade, and we go up at the same rate. I'm a public servant. I'm here to serve the public just like you guys are there to serve the children. And I think there's a little bit of level of expectation from the public for disclosure. And give them a little bit, there's my salary. Am I worth it? I don't know. I get evaluated. If you don't agree with my, if you don't feel like your child's getting what they need to get, then you go through the proper chain. But now if I have, Camille's soda shop or whatever, no, I don't want you to know what I'm making. I don't, but I'm not a public servant. I own my own private business. And so I just think that whether you agree with it or not, I think that's a little bit of your privacy when you give up, when you go in certain areas of the work.
One last question for us. What would you like to see as far as changes in McDonald County over the next 3 years? What do you see as goals that you would like to see achieved for McDonald County?
Okay.
Well, I would like to see a full-on public relations campaign for the schools. I just want to see them promoted. I want them in the media. When you have your testing scores come back and these kids make these great achievements, make it a day at the school or afternoon. Get the media to come down. Get the news stations from Joplin come down. Let them know what McDonald County has to offer. Because our kids, I just don't feel like they're getting the credit they deserve. And I really think that's where our weakness is. And if you promote our schools and how great they are, how great the testing results have been, that brings more people in here because they want to move their kids to good schools. And you move the people in, then you move the companies in. And it's like what Frank was talking about. He wants his kids to stay here. Well, guess what? There's not a lot of companies and business opportunities in this county. We have to create those. And it starts with people wanting to keep their kids in the school systems here and move here so they can take advantage of what great schools we do have. And I think then the jobs come in, and then our kids can stay here and raise their kids here.
Let me go next. Okay, the next 3 to 5 years. Well, for one thing, I would like to see our graduation rate just keep coming up. I mean, we are one of the deals, and I mean, I don't know if it's feasible, Mr. Gordon, but I'm not happy with anything short of 100%. And I know your heart, and I know what you pursue, and other educators here. I want our graduation rate up to the highest it can be, and it's excellent right now. I mean, but there's always that room that we can do a little bit more. Just this past year, we brought our alternative school back to McDonald County. Not that we didn't have a good deal going on in the Neosho. We're paying $200,000 a year to send our kids to the Neosho that couldn't fit into the regular mainstream school system. We want those kids to graduate. When they changed the graduation formula, Mr. Harrell stood there and he said, "I'm sorry guys, I'm still going to graduate these kids even if we don't get to count them in our formula." We didn't have a problem with that. We want the kids to graduate. Okay? Part of the thing, and we may talk about that here in a few minutes on the bond issue with the VOAG building, the construction facility or the shop that we're looking at trying to bring back. That is a chance to get more of those things that's at Crowder now back on campus. No, we don't want to lose any kind of partnership with Crowder, but if we can bring those classes back onto our campus and do those here, that's even better. We lose, 20 to 30 minutes each trip going to Crowder, coming back from Crowder, and those kids that they could be here in another class, in something else that could be getting benefit from. We ride the buses enough, okay? So, those are just some of the things I would like to see. I mean, the graduation rate, Bob Campbell's class renovated that building over there, the warehouse, into our alternative school. I believe it's at 30 now. We've never had 30 going up to the other one. So that's at least 5 to 7 more kids right now that we're educating that we're going to drop out, that wasn't going to be able to finish school, that wasn't going to be able to do something that we're doing with our teachers right here in McDonald County. I want those things. I agree with Camille that we continue to do better. I know for years Mr. Smith would invite newspapers or invite TV and stuff, and they wouldn't come very well. They're starting to come a little bit better. It's still not as good as it should be. I mean, we do have to improve on that deal. But anyway, like I say, our attendance rate, graduation rate, our kids going to college, our kids going on into the military, our kids pursuing their ag science degrees and things. We have a lot of great programs here. This school, from 1983 when I graduated to today, I mean, there's no comparison to the things that we offer to our kids.
I agree with both of them on the things that they've said. One of the things that I've been an advocate for over the past year, for sure, has been someone like a communications director or director of communications, however you want to say that. Obviously, I can't say it very well, but somebody to, promote public relations, promote the school to the public. If McDonald County residents really knew how great of group of teachers that we have and great our schools are and the students that we have and the graduation rate that we do have that we're still trying to improve on, the accreditation, all that stuff, and know how our facilities are taken care of, gosh, wouldn't they be so much, the whole perception and the pride of our schools and our community would be, I think, shot through the roof. It'd be great. And so I think that's a big deal. And, we can't ask our current administrators or superintendent to do that. He's got plenty on his plate already, and, we need somebody to take that load and do that. So I think that's an important piece. Some other things I would like to see is a week from tomorrow, I would like to see the bond passed so we can continue improving our facilities. And, we're looking at a couple of things. In Pineville, we've got the gym there that's been there since 1978 that we've taken great care of it. We've done a great job. We really have. I mean, we have squeezed the life out of that thing. It's about as far as we can squeeze it. And, that's what are we in 35 years in, and they're supposed to last 25 or 30 years. So we've done a good job with that. Same thing with Southwest City. A nice new facility there. And these are not just gyms, but they're FEMA shelters that are open to the community if there's a storm. I think that's pretty cool. And also some classrooms there. It's going to be a nice improvement to those facilities. Also here at the high school, looking at the storm shelter that will serve as a performing arts center. Gosh, that's going to be huge. I don't know if you all have been in on that, on how all that's going to go, but the drama and the band and choir, and I'll probably leave somebody out, but all of the performing arts, the fine arts departments are going to be able to use that for practices, performances, those kind of things, displays, hopefully some trophy cases, that kind of thing. And that's going to free up some space. Also with the addition of the VOAG shop, it's going to free up space in the carpentry building. So the wrestlers can have a place to do their thing. The baseball can use that in the off season. The basketball teams can have the gym as much as they want it, because right now it's in constant demand for everybody, all these co-curricular and extracurricular activities. So I haven't heard any negatives about that, so that's really good. But I want to see that and improve our track. our track needs resurfacing. I don't know if any of you are walking on that or running on that, but it's getting in pretty rough shape. But you know, all of those things kind of contribute to the student's level of confidence and pride in their school, and not only in their school but in themselves. And you know, when you see other schools come into our facilities and kind of make fun of them, they also make fun of our kids. And like Camille was saying, you know, we've got something to be proud of, but there's a few things that we really need to give some attention to detail on that will kind of put us over the top. And so when people are coming in from out of town or out of the district and they see what we've got, they're not going to make fun of us anymore. And our kids are going to be proud of what they have. And that's going to make them perform better on the field, on the court, in the classroom. And all those things mean good things for our community and mean good things for future growth in McDonald County. And so those are some things I like to see. One other thing that's probably really important to you guys is the great handling of our finances. I think Mr. Smith did a great job as superintendent with our finances. I think Dr. Stanton's done a good job as well. And we've been able to give some teacher raises, and I'll obviously keep doing that because I'm a firm believer that teachers are, if not the most, one of the most underpaid jobs anywhere in McDonald County. So that's important to me, and I want to continue to see that and support that. I've got 3 kids. I want to make sure that they have a good, have all you good teachers throughout school and graduate and be proud of the school they have. You know, just kind of personally, speaking of my kids, you know, growing up here, I was a victim really of I hate to say a victim, but I was one of those kids that was somewhat ashamed because I was from McDonald County, because I heard from, you know, Joplin and Neosho and Carl Junction and all these other schools about, oh, you're from McDonald County and you stink or whatever, you know, because we're just dumb hillbillies. And so I couldn't wait to get out of McDonald County and go somewhere else. And I did that for 13 years. And, you know, I lived in Kansas City for a big chunk of that time and in Springfield. And I got to see other communities, other areas, bigger cities. And I got to see what people did and how people behaved and their school systems. And I realized that now that I'm back in McDonald County and I've been here for almost 5 years and my kids are in the school system, that they have no idea what we have and what we are. And I love being here. I love my kids being back in McDonald County. And, you know, as a dad that has kids that I love more than anything, you know, I want them here. I want them in McDonald County. And I've seen that. I've seen everything outside. You know, I've seen other places. And so I'm glad to be here. And I was talking to somebody the other day that was talking about moving from where they're at. And they were looking at school ratings. And I said, well, did you look at McDonald County? And they said, you know what? I never even thought to look at McDonald County school rating. Because people just think that we're just white trash, like, you know, Camille was saying. I said, well, I'd be interested to hear what it is. And they were talking about looking on Realtor.com and houses. And they talked about some area school ratings were ranged anywhere from 5 to 8. And they were really high on the ones that were rated at 8. I thought that was really awesome. Well, a couple hours later, I received a text from that person. They said, by the way, McDonald County is rated an 8. So, you know, we do have something to be proud of, and we need to get that word out. We need to be proud of it. So, I think I've talked enough. You want to say anything else? Okay. Liz, you got anything?
Does anyone have a question from the floor?
You've
been taking notes. I know you have a question or something.
Well, I've taught for 8 years in this district, and one of the concerns that I've had, and I think are shared by fellow teachers, are the costs of our health insurance premiums. Because in my case, for my family, it's unreasonably high, And so I'm currently unemployed, or not covered by anything, because it was going to cost me $900 to cover my family. And, you know, I wouldn't be able to feed them if I was to pay that. So how would you address those concerns?
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, Dr. Stanton and Mr. Smith did even before, you know, try constantly to do the things we can to keep that down, you know, to try to keep that as low as we can. I mean, I think we find a good insurance agent somewhere that could work and get us a good deal on some insurance for our school district. We're a large employer. I mean, I don't know if we could self-insure. I mean, I don't know if that's something we could do. I'm just speaking out. You're asking me what I think, if there are ways that we could look at something. I don't know if that's even feasible. You know, with this kind of group, probably not. You're shaking your head. No.
Tried it.
You already tried it. Okay, so I mean, you know, we're just going to have to constantly be looking for a way to try to either get those costs down, premium costs down, or find, you know, a better way to insure.
You know, you are not alone as a school teacher. You know, just as an employer or an employee in the United States of America, I think we all have that concern and that problem. And I know me personally, shoot, I sell insurance. I sell health insurance. Rarely, but I do. And I sold myself a health insurance policy, but my deductible is huge. You know, I mean, it's so high just so I can afford something, so I don't lose the farm, if you will. And you know, that's just on the personal side of it, I guess. But on the school side, you know, I know that we've looked, we've searched, and tried to find something or somebody that can help us out. And I know, in comparison to neighboring districts, that we're doing pretty good. I think, you know, if you all know something that's better, if you've heard of somebody that's got something better in a neighboring district, you know, I'd love to hear about it. But I think that as far as our increases over the past few years, you know, we were able to lock in, hey, we won't increase you more than 6% or whatever it was. I can't remember the exact numbers. And so we've asked around, and other districts are having a 10, 15, 20% increases. You know, get out and make your voice heard in all politics, I would say. You know, consider that when you vote for whoever you're voting for, that has a say in our nationwide health care and that kind of thing.
Well, first I'd have to say that's outrageous. I can't even believe $900. That's, I mean, it's crazy. I don't know what they've tried as a board, because I'm obviously, you know, a lot of that stuff is behind closed sessions, but you can brainstorm. I mean, you can bring people together, bring the teachers together. They may have ideas of other teachers from other districts in the state that they know about. They said they compared already to some of the districts around us, and it's pretty similar. Go beyond that. Go to small businesses that compare with the same number and size of employees that we're dealing with here in this county and see what they have. I mean, don't restrict yourself just to other school systems. There may be, you know, businesses out there that are equivalent. I think if you have to go and talk to different insurance agents that specialize in just health care, get their input on it. I mean, there's got to be ways to get down. $900 a month is crazy. And when you have to decide whether you're going to feed somebody or you're going to make sure they're provided for if they're injured, that's not a decision you should have to make. So I think it's something that you work just really hard on it. I mean, and you just go out there and you try to find different avenues. I'm just not someone who says, well, that's the best we can do. I'm not. You tell me that, I'm going to go and I'm going to look for something else. With our agency, we've had budget cuts and stuff, so we have gone out and done all kinds of things to bring materials in. We've had materials donated. We do some of these little science fairs for kids. Our agency said, nope, no more giveaways, no more money for materials for props or anything like that. Well, what kid wants to come up and read a brochure? You know, it's very dry and boring, but if they can see it hands-on, then they're going to be more interested in it. And so that's when we just started knocking on doors going, hey, how about a handout here or handout there? I'm somebody who, if you put me on a task, I'm just going to work on it like a little bull terrier. But I really think that's such an important issue that we really have to keep working on it and put it on the front burner. Oh, can I add something? Oh, sorry. And I don't know if you guys have looked into this or not, but I know 2 years ago when our health insurance really went up, they signed on with the program, and it's called Stay Fit or something like that. Do you guys do anything like that now? I don't know. It is where once a quarter you go online, and it's connected with the insurance company. But if you'll fill out their little survey that says, I would like to exercise 30 minutes a day from 0 that I'm doing now. It's like a little health form that you fill out once a quarter. And then once a quarter, once a quarter. Once a quarter, someone will contact you from this company, and they'll just say, hey, you met your goal of walking 15 minutes a day. You'll say yes or no, and that's the end of the conversation. But it has dropped our monthly health fees. For mine, it was $25 a month less. So it does add up for 15, 20 minutes on the phone and on the computer. And whether you do it or not, I guess that's up to you. Hopefully you will. I mean, that's the encouragement, is that you'll become a healthier person by doing this. But it goes right along in line with our health insurance. And like I said, it's directly reflects our premium. So.
Does anyone else have a question? Or do you have another one? Do you all have any questions? Well, we really want to thank you for coming. And we have cookies and punch.